Hey guys, Sarah Halina here again, and this is video number 2 of the fanfiction Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest. So, spoilers ahead? Stay tuned. Okay, so this is a final story spoiler warning. If you haven't read Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest, go do that. The links are in the description down below to both fanfiction.net and Archive of Our Own. So you can choose whatever platform, I guess, you want to read it on. And then come back here and hear how the story came to be the way that it did. Yeah. So final story spoiler warning. I will be talking about things that happened in the story. Okay. Oh boy, Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest. This was an old one. It's been sitting on my external hard drive for years. Like, it was finished maybe halfway through season 7. Yeah, so it's been sitting on the hard drive for a while. I've gone back and I've read it to see whether I should tweak it. And yeah. So, basically the story came to be because after season 6, Jennifer Morrison, Jennifer Goodwin, Josh Dallas, Emily DeRaven, and Rebecca Mader basically, all said that they were done with Once Upon a Time. And that meant we were only left with Lana, Robert, and Colin. And I was like, okay, so how are we going to have a whole season and potentially more with only 3 of the actors, 4 of the characters that we are familiar with? So started thinking about it in season 6 type thing. Thinking, okay, I'm gonna look to it as if writing season 7 from a different point. Initially it was going to be 2 stories. It was going to be Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest and Once Upon a Time in Oz. So I was going to have 2 separate stories, basically running, the same time frame, the same time length type thing as season 7. So in Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest, it was really only supposed to be Snow, David, and Emma, and some other people. And Once Upon a Time in Oz was supposed to be Zelena, Dorothy, Red, Mulan, and Belle. Now, why I put Belle in Oz, I don't know. I love Belle's dynamic with Zelena, and I was just like, you know what? Let's put her in Oz. I don't know why, but yeah, so initially it was going to be 2 stories, and it was essentially going to be with the thought process that season 7 was going to have, Regina and Rumple and Hook essentially be stranded in Storybrooke, and their happy endings being taken away from them. So whoever cast the curse, I left that open-ended because I literally was just like, I don't know who I'm going to get to cast the curse. So some unknown being cast the curse. I mean, whatever. And the idea was to remove the villain's happy endings, because by the end of season 6, everybody sort of had their happy endings. Regina was accepted into the family. She had Henry who loved her. She was close with Snow and David and Emma. Like, she was even close with Zelina. Zelina also had her happy ending with her daughter and her sister and everything like that. And Hook had his happy ending with Emma and with Henry and the whole family type thing. And Rumple, same thing. He was happy with Belle, his son, who, was evil and then wasn't because he was a baby. And yeah, so the idea was whoever cast the curse removed these 3 characters that we were going to be seeing in season 7 from their happy endings. And thus their happy endings were scattered amongst the different realms. So, I went from having 2 stories running simultaneously with season 7, and then I didn't. And I decided I'm going to merge all of them. So I had the Enchanted Forest and Oz just sort of merged together. So I had Belle back in the Enchanted Forest. I didn't really necessarily want to play with Red, Dorothy, and Mulan too much, but they definitely had more to do originally. And then it just didn't work when I came to a roadblock, which was, I don't know what to write anymore. So, scrap the whole thing. This was about maybe a couple episodes into season 7. And I was like, they're not even doing what I thought they were going to be doing. They weren't doing what I was having planned with this story. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to reunite them all. I'm going to bring Regina and Hook and Rumple into the Enchanted Forest back to the families. Yeah. So I had one giant story from essentially what was 2 fan fictions and what I thought season 7 was going to somewhat look like, at least. But then I decided, you know what? I gotta have some romance. And I thought about sticking with Captain Swan, so Hook and Emma. But then I was like, so everybody's happy in the Enchanted Forest, and I don't know, it's just, there wasn't much to write with that. So I went back and forth whether or not to make Swan Queen happen in the story. There was a part of me that loved the idea, and then there was a part of me that was like, no, I don't want to do that. I do love Emma and Regina. Their friendship, whether they're more than friends, I love it all. But I didn't know whether I wanted to make it happen in this story. But eventually I decided, you know what? I'm going to. And the conflict from that came from cheating Emma, which I was very skeptical to do because, firm stance on if you lose a connection with somebody that you're romantically involved with, end the relationship and go pursue other avenues. Don't cheat type thing. But I figured drama. So why not? And then also the drama coming from Snow being against it. And this was something that was really odd because Snow was so open to everything. So she's always been sort of supportive, so why wouldn't she have that same support for her daughter? And I don't know, for some reason I was just like, I want Snow to be against this for a little bit. So basically throwing her into the Enchanted Forest, putting her in that position where, she and David and Emma were back where they were always supposed to be. And, that, dredging up some old feelings. Emma should have been the princess, and, all of this could have been theirs if Regina hadn't cast the curse. So sort of pitting her against Regina again. And I know, a lot of people sat there and said that Snow and Regina, patched things up way too quickly, given everything that Regina did to her. So I was like, okay, so it's not out of, the stretch of reality for some people to jump on board this whole thing. And I figured, the perfect way to do it is put them back in the old stomping grounds type thing. And thus kind of putting Snow back into that, royal figurehead type thing. And that's why she doesn't want Emma to be with another woman. And then, to add to all of that, it's Regina. So, yeah, that was an odd thing for me to do. But I'm like, if everybody's just sort of going to be okay with it, then it's going to be, okay, back to happy stories, happy situations, and I could have just left Hook and Emma the way they were. So I had to find somebody to be against it, and for some reason, I just wanted it to be Snow, and I don't know. It just, that's how it worked. Now, bringing Henry, Cinderella, and Lucy in was something that came in with season 7. Initially, they were not going to be in the story. It was like Henry left. He went to go find his own story. He went to go find his own adventure. And that's where he was. But I was like, you know what? If I'm bringing everybody back, I'm going to bring Henry, Cinderella, and Lucy back type thing. But I didn't want to do much with them, so they came in at the end. And the implication that Lucy is an author. I went back and forth with this, but really it was like Lucy being carbon copy season 1 Henry. I'm like, of course, like she would have some sort of abilities type thing. I talked about how she should have been the Guardian in actual season 7. But yeah, I figured, you know what? She's going to be the next generation author. And yeah. Look, somebody had to be. And making Henry like aware that his mom's, had this connection. It was like, yeah, because of course if he's the author, he has to sort of document everything. So he sort of has that keen sense of like, picking up things from people. And yeah, so that was that. But going back to Oz, because I do have the Oz crew in here. I have Red and Dorothy and Mulan, albeit briefly. But, yeah, I figured, check in with, Red and Dorothy and Mulan and see what's happening with them. And, talking about how Mulan, had this connection growing with Red. And that Red and Dorothy are getting married. Yay, happy couple. But the thing is for me, I never connected to Red and Dorothy. Like, well, for one, they were barely on screen. But I really connected to Red and Mulan, even though they had about the same amount of screen time. So yeah, playing with this idea of, true love isn't always what we think it is. Hook and Emma were supposed to have true love, but, Emma had feelings for Regina and she loves Regina. I was like, well, if I'm playing with that, this is my chance to have Red Warrior exist. I have Swan Queen existing. I have Red Warrior existing. This is my dream, people. Like, So, yeah, breaking up Red and Dorothy. I mean, I didn't care because I was like, we didn't see them. So, yeah, breaking them up was relatively easy to do. But going Red Warrior was just the way that I was like, I want to do this so badly. Yeah, like when I had the two stories going, the Once Upon a Time in Oz and Once Upon a Time in the Enchanted Forest, we were looking a lot into the Red, Dorothy, and Mulan sort of triangle happening. And I'm really, really sad that I just didn't have enough, motivation and inspiration to write both. I might do like an Oz type one a little bit later if, the mood strikes type thing, and write about their adventures after they all just vanished from the show. Yeah, so that was basically how the story came to be, why it went the way that it did. Look, I don't know. I went back and forth whether to post it even, but it's been a while since I posted a fanfiction, so I figured it's done. Might as well. Yeah, so you can let me know what you thought of the story in the comments down below, or you can let me know in fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own, whichever one you're reading the story on. Yeah, and if you like this video, you can leave a like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you can be notified when I upload my latest videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in another video. Bye, guys!